You are watching the Disney Channel. You are watching Wander Things. On today's video, we're going to be covering a killer and explaining their abilities and how to counter all of the survivors in Forsaken. First killer we'll be covering is Slasher. So, first of all, who is Slasher? Slasher is one of the many killers in the Roblox game Forsaken. He is awarded to the player as soon as they join the game. With 1,250 health points, he has more health than two of the killers in the game, but many more have a larger amount than him. Slasher's real name is Jason, and he is an unseen character in the Last Gasp film by Oblivious HD. He's an isolated kid with only his mother Paula to comfort him. In war, he was killed in action and later revived with a Necrobloxicon scene stabbed on the shoulder in his Roblox model. Prolonged exposure to the Necrobloxicon, a cursed book whose voice believed was his mother's, gave him immortality, and he continued to commit violent acts under the book's influence before being forsaken by the Spectre. We know the backstory of this crazed breakfast brain. Let's look ahead at his abilities. Slash is an M1 attack with a 1.9 second cooldown that deals 20 damage and applies bleeding 1, totaling it to 28 damage with piercing. Behead. Behead is a lunge attack that deals 20 damage and has an 18-second cooldown. When it is hit on a survivor, it will inflict helpless for 8 seconds. If it hits, it will also inflict slowness for 1 or 2 seconds if it is not a finisher move. Like Slash, it also pierces. Gashing Wound. Gashing Wound is a combo attack that unleashes 5 attacks, dealing 50 damage to the survivor with a cooldown of 32 seconds. It can damage multiple survivors in the hitbox, but only stun locks one survivor. Raging Pace. Raging Pace is an ability that makes Slasher go 19 stuns a second in speed, but giving him stun immunity till it ends or another move is used. When it is used, it will reveal the aura of the closest survivor the entire time Raging Pace is active. If Slasher Behead is used during Raging Pace, Slasher will lunge 19 studs in whatever direction he is facing. When Slash is used, the damage is increased to 25 damage, 33 with bleeding. Nothing is changed with Behead, but when Gashing Wound is used during Raging Pace, that damage increases to 70 damage. Now that we have our moves covered, let's go through each survivor. Noob. The best way to counter Noob is to use Behead when they are using Slate Skin, to prevent them from canceling it early. Use Raging Pace to prevent being stunned would ruin the plan, and wait 2 or 3 seconds to Gashing Wound them, then to prevent them from running away with their added speed. And deal an immense amount of damage with the Enraged Gashing Wound. The only time Ghostburger is an issue during Last Man Standing, because it can cover Noob's aura and hide them. To counter this, you have to wait 10 seconds, then use Raging Pace to uncover his aura. It's really that easy. Did you really think there'd be anything else? Shadowski. Shadowski is harder to counter, being able to heal if you let him hide and stun you if you end Raging Pace near him. But there are ways to counter this. When Shadowski slashes, he gets slowed and a sound effect plays. You can either look for the decrease in the speed and back up, then Gashing Wound him, or use Raging Pace allowing them to hit you, but it won't do anything because it's a stun immunity. Then you can Gashing Wound them. Both are good ways, and you might think the one with Raging Pace is better because you can deal an extra 20 damage, but it's not always the best because good Shadowskis, experienced Shadowskis, will fake you out. And once they realize you fall for it, they'll run, causing you to lose distance and a very good ability. Fried Chicken is very easy to counter though. To counter it, you need to lower the Shadowski, let him run, go after someone else, but in reality you're waiting for him to use a chicken. When he does, you can pop out and Gashing Wound him. With Raging Pace or without, it really does not matter. Elliot is harder to counter. To start, he doesn't have any moves you can counter even. The only thing you can really do to counter him is try to guard the pizza he throws, not allowing him to gain Rush Hour. If this fails and he gets Rush Hour, he'll most likely well, surprisingly, most likely try to run away from you. When this happens, he might run out of stamina when you chase him, allowing you to use Raging Pace and catch up to him to regain your distance. Builderman. Builderman is insanely easy to counter and he's really simple. Whenever you build a building, you can use Raging Pace and Gashing Wind him. That's about it. But if you do allow him to place a sentry, then it gets a bit more difficult, I'd say. You can attack once during chase. If he comes around again, you attack it a second time, killing it. The most important rule for Slasher is to not stop chase for anything. This includes stopping to kill the sentry. Stopping to kill the sentry will also allow guests to block and parry you while you try to destroy it. 0, 0, 7, and 7. 7 and 7 is one of the easiest survivors to counter, because you have piercing and can counter clone blocking. Whenever 7 and 7 uses Cool GUI, you can Gash and Wound him. If you fail to do it, it can be devastating though. If you don't have Raging Pace off cooldown, you won't know where he is. When you get Raging Pace back, he can still use Clone to close his aura. And the only time clone blocking is against you is if Gash and Wound, because if you catch the clone, you'll be stun locked in the animation, allowing him to run or use Cool GUI in a hidden spot. Another way to know if someone is a clone is to look for sudden turns, perfect straight running, or sometimes if the setting is on cursor, you need to look for jittery movements and running into walls or unnatural movement. 2-time is hard to counter. Being an only melee killer is very easy for Slasher to get backstabbed by 2-times. The way to counter them is always check your back, but don't make it too obvious. You need to keep running and look back every here and there. If you do manage to see one, do not let them know. When they come to stab you, either turn around and Gash and Wound them, or use Raging Pace to block the stun, then use Gash and Wound. But the scenario has the same outcome as Shedletsky. Experienced 2-time players may try to test to see if you're looking, by running forward, then back, but not stabbing. So it may be 20 more damage, but you can still lose chase on one of your best abilities for a very long time period. Guest 1337. Guest used to be Slasher's worst enemy. Now, Guest can be a problem, but not enough to be round ending. Now that Guest can only block M1s, it is important to know that you don't have to be cautious with Gashing Wound. So now it's more of a punisher than a gamble. One of the best counters to Guest is Behead. It applies Helpless to him and disables anything that he can do to you. When he has Helpless, don't be afraid to use M1. Once you know that he does not have Helpless, try to start block baiting. Once he blocks, Gashing Wound him but you will not have enough time to get enraged Gashing Wound. A tech that used to work on Guest was letting him get his punch, then use Raging Pace to stop the parry, then Gashing Wound him. But this does not work anymore because the parry animation is a lot faster now, and I'm pretty sure it's physically impossible for you to actually do that. So, yeah. Taff is a hard survivor to counter. There is absolutely nothing you can use against him. Other than the slowness when using their abilities. But most of the time you don't have enough time to really do anything against them. The best thing you can do is to avoid their traps with Raging Pace, because those effects don't apply when Raging Pace is in use. But when you do happen to meet a Taff and you're close enough to Gash and Wound them, you should always at least try to take the shot. Veronica. V is the counter to Slasher, so of course she's the hardest to counter. My best tip is to go for her first and always break her spray paints. The reason breaking spray paints is needed is because without skating, V is a Shedletsky with no stun that cannot use medkits. But if you do end up leaving her for LMS, do the same thing. Break her spray paints. But if she does use skate, Raging Pace is your best friend. You should go hug Raging Pace, because they're your best friend. Yay, Raging Pace! You're my best friend! No, shut up, Wonder Things, said the evil Raging Pace. Because when Veronica skates, she drains her stamina. So when you use Raging Pace, you can go faster than walking and regain stamina while taking shortcuts through killer-only paths. Another reason why Raging Pace is your best friend is because if V tries to use Bumper on you with Raging Pace active, You will not be knocked back, so you can easily land an enraged gashing wound, dealing 70 damage to her. Chance. Chance is another easy-ish one to counter. The best way to counter him is to let the Chance have time to build up weakness. Once you know he has a weakness, you can behead him, either killing him straight up or not allowing him to use Hatfix. Then you can start to chase him. If you see him use Hatfix, you can gashing wound him, assuring at least 50 damage to be dealt to him. This can also apply to his flintlock. Because of the long wind-up, you can gashing wound him during the wind-up. Or you can use Raging Pace to block the stun, then gashing wound him. If his gun explodes or does not shoot, you can do the exact same thing. Just gashing wound him. Because everything is about gashing wound. Gashing wound, gashing wound, gashing. But if you manage to allow him to get all 130, or something along the lines of that, and 3 charges with no weakness, you're going to want to bait his shot by pretending you're out of stamina and chase. Then use Raging Pace when he shoots, or stall till he flips his coin again. 50% of the time, it will give him weakness, and 25% of the time, he will have weakness, and that weakness from that coin flip will add on to that, allowing you to do the same technique from the start of the paragraph. What did I say? Dusakar is a pretty hit-or-miss survivor for Slasher. On one hand, it can be easy to counter, or alternatively, he can make Slasher's life a living hell. To start, Dusakar is 90 HP, making him a viable starting target further round. Dusakar also is bad in chase. Spawn protection slows him, and he cannot use it on himself. Plasma beam also slows him, so another reason why he's a great target. Another plus for going for him first is when you are chasing a survivor and they miss their stun. You hit them with gashing wound. They will take all 50 damage instead of a reduced amount because of his spawn protection. But if you do not go for him first, he can make your round a living nightmare. To start off, you can very easily lose chase by being slowed by Dusakar. Or that stupid doo-doo head 2-time you've been chasing all around will not die because he has so much overheal from the Dusakar. Another con of leaving a Dusakar alive is chasing a Shadetsky or Veronica. The Dusakar spawn protects them. They can either chicken or battery respectively to heal, even while you spam moves, because the amount of damage they take with the spawn protection is not enough to cancel the heal, surprisingly. Jane, though. Jane is a hard survivor to counter. She basically has no cooldown for Crystal Pitch, allowing her to get you to Resonance 3 really quickly, and allowing her to stun you for a large period of time. The most known way to counter the Crystal Pitch is Raging Pace to deny the Crystal Pitches. But this is very inefficient because it gets rid of your best move for one Crystal Pitch. She can get back her 15 seconds or so. What I personally do from stopping this from happening is simply just not. You can allow them to get as much resonance as they want. They have a cooldown for all Janes to stop stacking, so you don't need to worry much after you get hit by one for at least too long. And even if they get you to level 3 resonance, I would just dodge or use Raging Pace to deny the attack. Because at least for me, the Crystal Pitch is very easy to ignore, and the stun is honestly pretty easy to dodge. Alright, little Slasher Man, go on and kill those survivors. Oh, how they grow up so fast. God damn.